Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. You're watching WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman, your host, and this is the best daily sports betting show on the planet. We've got an almost spectacular lineup. Our first guest, Bryan Leonard, one of the best. He's going to take apart the Alamo Bowl and the Pinstripe Bowl. Plus, he's going to look at the Cardinals and the Rams. I like the under in that game. I'll wade in there a little later. Teddy covers. That's the almost part. The show would have been perfect, but yes, he paid extra. He's on today. He's going to look at the Hawaii Bowl and the Chiefs versus Steelers, Ravens versus Texans. Two NFL games, both going tomorrow. Teddy's going to take apart them. Andy Lang, the doctor of props. He's on after that. He's got some prop bets for us, and we're going to end the show with Gianni the Greek and his Steam report. Bryan Leonard, I have not seen you in a while. Love having you on the show. Welcome to WagerTalk Today.
I appreciate it. And you're in the holiday spirit. You're pulling your Santa Claus facial hair. It looks great.
Yeah, well, listen, everybody hates my beard in my life, largely because of the mustache. It just doesn't seem to want to be the same color as the beard, but there's really nothing I can do about it. I will shave this thing, but nobody cares, Brian, honestly. I mean, Teddy cares, but other than Teddy, nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares. Let's get into some actionable betting information, and let's start right off the bat with this BYU Colorado game. Minus 3.5 of Colorado, a total of 54.5. We've got BYU, who are a stone cold over team. Colorado 5-4-1 to the over. That's personally where I'm looking. I'm curious what you're going to do in this matchup.
Yeah, we're actually seeing fours out there sometimes too in some of the places. I do want to make a note on our Wager Talk Live lines. It's saying that it's being played in Boulder, Colorado. Obviously, it is not. That's a typo. But late in the regular season, the Cougars had much higher hopes than this December 28th bowl game. They'd run off 9 straight victories to open the season and had Kansas, Arizona State, and Houston remaining. They lost back-to-back 4- and 5-point decisions to the Jayhawks and the Sun Devils before finishing off the year with a nice 12-point victory over the disappointing Cougar squad. Despite playing only 2 ranked opponents on the season, BYU has put up some impressive numbers. Passing games have been really a standout group on both sides of the ball. Offensively, a 21-11 touchdown to interception ratio, and defensively, an outstanding 11-20 touchdown to interception ratio. And that's the reason for this team's success. They've been very good against the pass. BYU has outgained the opposition 6.19 to 4.90 yards per play. They'll need that excellent pass defense to keep up with the Buffaloes here. The Buffaloes went 4-2 on the road this season, but despite playing in a power conference, this is going to be the first time all season they're playing a ranked opponent as BYU enters play at 17th in the country. Looking over the 9 opponents that Colorado has defeated, it's hard to find an impressive victory against a good football team. They've run up the scores against the bad teams, and there's been a lot of bad teams on their schedule. We'll see what happens here when they take on a ranked opponent. Obviously, Colorado has no running game to speak of, averaging just 2.62 yards per carry. It's the passing game, which has been very impressive. A 166.94 quarterback rating, along with amazing 35-8 touchdown to interception ratio. They do have a plus 11 turnover margin on the season, which is a major factor in their success on the year. So I look at this as a strength versus strength matchup between the Buffaloes' air attack and the Cougars' pass defense. And while BYU has to be a little bit disappointed by how the season ended, a win here over this very public Colorado team could really cap off this season for them. You know, with Buffalo's best players heading to the NFL, I could see them possibly not having full focus on this one. I like BYU. They've done more against good opponents than Colorado has, and I'll take the points with the with BYU, the Cougars on this one.
Bryan Leonard joining us, everyone. I like the over in this game, as I discussed with you, Brian. It's one of those angles where BYU is the over team, and Colorado's the team that scores more. And I love when that sort of comes together. 54.5 is the total here. Colorado just put up 52 themselves in their last game. So I like the over in that one. Bryan Leonard, let's turn our attention to Yankee Stadium, the Pinstripe Bowl. And I did ask you off air if the Yankees are paying to have the name, the Pinstripe Bowl. If anyone knows, I'm curious. I don't know why. But Nebraska is playing BC here. How you handicapping this one?
The Eagles came out of the gate on fire. They won 4 of their first 5 games, with the only loss coming at number 23, Missouri. But since that time, BC has had a losing record. They did finish the season well with wins over North Carolina and Pitt by double digits. But most of the Eagles' damage this year came at home. They had a 6-1 record at home. The lone victory away from home was at Florida State in the season opener, and we all know what has happened to Florida State since then. So obviously that impressive win early on did not look so impressive at the end of the season. The strength of this team is in the air. Offensively, they have a 151.75 quarterback rating, along with a strong 24-7 touchdown to interception ratio. Defensively, they've intercepted 16 passes, the same number as passing touchdowns allowed, so they've done very well defending the pass this season. They do have a +8 turnover differential, which contributed to their 7-5 record. After all, Boston College was only able to outgain the opposition by 0.08 yards per play this season. If you're looking at a 500 ball club here, that's exactly what they are. Much like BC, Nebraska started the season with a bang, winning 5 of 6 to start the year. The only defeat came against number 21 Illinois. But since that time, the Cornhuskers have dropped 5 of 6 games, scoring just 74 total points in those 5 losses. Similar to their opponent, Nebraska struggled outside of Lincoln. They were 1-4 on the road this year. Nebraska averaged 3.78 yards per carry and have a touchdown to interception ratio of 11-12. That's not very impressive offensively. They did allow a solid 19.8 points per game, which is the strong point of this club. They do have a good defense. You know, weather can always be a factor in late December in New York, and we feel that both teams are going to struggle to move the football here. Boston College played Big Ten entrant Michigan State earlier this season at home, a 23-19 victory, so they got 42 points in that. I expect something similar here. The line's about 45 or so. I expect this to be a real battle in defense between these two teams. I like the under in New York.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, Bryan. And really quick, just one follow-up question. You know, in these bowl games, and this is conceptual and specific to this game, does Nebraska just want to get out of Dodge? I mean, this is a team that was doing great, and then they lost 5 of 6. 5 of 6, and they got annihilated in their last game. Well, not annihilated, 13-10 to Iowa, but, man, they put up 10 damn points. Is this one of those situations where they just want this season to end, call it a day, and maybe they don't have the intensity that we'll see with Boston College?
That's the point you're going to run into in any of these games that are non-playoff games in college football now. The players are going to say the right things. The coaches are going to say the right things. But until they get on the field and start playing, you really don't know. You can go back and look at it. Well, of course they didn't care to play this game. Or you know, if they play well, he said, well, they wanted to finish the year strong after having a downturn in the middle. So these are the games that are tougher to handicap, if you ask me, going over the bowl season over, you know, my lifetime. It's tough to get the motivation right in these games. You think you have it many times and you can take advantage of it, but a lot of these you really don't know. So I know what's going to happen in these playoff games. Both teams are going to give it all. Everybody on the team is going to play, and that's why I prefer those over these just regular bowl games.
Right. Bryan Leonard joining us. Guys, just a quick mention. It's $5 Tuesday over at WagerTalk. Every handicapper puts up one play for only $5. If you guys have never purchased from us before, it's such a perfect time to do so on Tuesday. Not only can you get Bryan's play for $5, but hey, spend $15 and buy Teddy, me, and Bryan. Make it $20 and add Andy to the mix. And then you guys get to find out how we handicap the type of analysis we write, whether you like what we have to say or not. And it's only $5, which is literally less than a tall latte from Starbucks. Bri, my $5 play is at an NFL ATS bet, my favorite one of the entire week. What is yours?
Mine actually goes today. My best and strongest bowl game is actually going today, and it's the only game on the board in any sport today. So if you want to get an action on today's game, I believe it starts, we still got like 8 more hours till it starts, but it's a game that I've liked all the way through, and that's what I use. So you get my best play from the bowl season for only $5 today.
The Hawaii Bowl. Teddy Covers is going to take apart that as well a little later. Bryan, our last game that we're going to discuss is the Cardinals and the Rams. I started the show by telling you guys I liked under 49. Well, 49 only exists at one sportsbook right now. This has been bet down to 48 already. I expect it to continue to be bet down as well. I don't think it's going to go much lower, that 47.5 type of a number. But I really like the under in this game. And it's likely going to be a client play as well. Where are you going?
Well, if you remember the first time these two met up, the Cardinals dominated the Rams, winning 41-10 in blowout fashion. But that was all the way back in week 2, and was very likely the pick of the season for Arizona. Cardinals have been good bullies this year with wins over the Patriots, the Jets, the Bears, the Dolphins, and who the hell thought I'd ever say this, the 49ers. A 2-point victory over the Chargers is the only other victory they had this season against a team with a winning record. Cardinals just 2-5 on the road, 3-7 in conference, while losing 4 of their last 5 games. A loss here to the Rams knocks them completely out of the playoff picture, so they're going to come with their best. But that's a tight division with the Rams and Arizona and Seattle. So I expect the Rams to come out with just as much intensity here. The Rams struggled out of the gate, losing 4 of 5 to start the season, but they've been one of the most consistent teams in the league since. They're on an 8-2 run with victories over the likes of Buffalo and Minnesota, 2 teams with serious Super Bowl aspirations.
Yep.
And looking at net point differential, the Rams are 9-6 on the season, yet they've been outscored by 18 points, while the Cardinals come in at 7-8, and they've outscored the opposition by 2. That said, it's clear the Rams not only have revenge on their minds for that earlier blowout, they've proven themselves against much better competition. This is a high number considering year-to-date stats, but recent play clearly points to the host here. No, they don't get a major advantage by playing at home, but they're playing so much better right now than Arizona has. Arizona had this division literally should have been locked up. They had weak teams coming up. They were on a winning streak, and they've dropped a lot of games to lesser competition. They'll lose this one, too. I like the Rams in this one.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what I really like about this Rams team as they move forward to try and make a run in the playoffs is, well, if a team puts up 42, they'll put up 44. And if another team puts up 9, they'll put up 12. It doesn't matter what type of game they're involved in. They seem to be able to get the W. And, man, Sean McVay, what a coach. Bryan Leonard, everybody. Bryan, thanks for joining us. Happy holidays, my friend. Be well. And, guys, if you're betting the Hawaii Bowl tonight, Bryan's got a play for you on that. It is only $5. Teddy Covers, for all the shit I give you, dude, just having you pop up on the screen there. Oh, can we do that again? Dan, put me on only and then pop him in. I love you, Teddy Covers. I know you don't love me, and that's okay. I've gone my entire life loving other people more than they love me. How are you?
I'm doing all right, Lawrence. Nice to see you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah for all of you out there. That being said, the feeling is not mutual. When I'm on the screen and then I see you pop up, my heart doesn't start to pitter-pat.
Yeah, well, listen, what can I tell you, dude? I man crush on you. You don't man crush on me. It's okay. What do you think of the beard?
Full disclosure?
Yeah.
It's awful, dude. Everyone knows that. You know that. But I understand. No, but when I grow my beard, I get sick of shaving. It doesn't look any better than yours. I get it.
So that's the issue. What I said to Vivian was, once it's on, it's hard to come off because you just sit there and you play with it. Oh, it feels so good. Anyway, welcome to Wager Talk Today, my brother. Let's get into it. We got the Hawaii Bowl going tonight. Brian's got a bet for us. You're going to take apart that game. How do you suggest our listeners bet it?
So it really is a fascinating contest for a little Hawaii Bowl between San Jose and South Florida. And for what it's worth, right now, it's kind of a split line. You can lay 2.5. You can take 3 if you shop around looking at the WagerTalk free live odds screen. Total has been bet up. We're looking at 65s right now, opened as low as 61.5 here in Las Vegas. South Florida, a long way from home, obviously. When you talk about a team from Florida playing in Hawaii, they had bowl success and are goalless last year. They beat Syracuse 45-0 in their bowl game. Of course, that was a complete no-show for Syracuse. Nonetheless, USF showed and took care of business. We've seen money for the Bulls today. And the last, really, it's been creeping towards the Bulls the last couple of days because it looks like their quarterback, Byron Brown, he's been out since week 5. He's expected to return for this ballgame. And from all indications, he's going to be able to do that. Now, Brown is an upgrade over what they've had at QB in recent weeks for most of the season in that regard. And the markets are reacting to that. When you look at South Florida's schedule, they haven't beaten anybody. I mean, really. All 6 of their wins came against true bottom feeders. They don't have a decent win to show for their season. Tulsa, Charlotte, Florida Atlantic, Southern Miss, UAB, Bethune-Cookman. It's not pretty. And every time they stepped up in class, they got crushed. 5 of their 6 losses came by 18 points or more. They were non-competitive when playing any decent team. So it's not like USF comes into this power-rated sky high. They're a million miles from home. I get it. So San Jose State lost the same bowl game in Hawaii to Coastal Carolina last year. The best player, wide receiver Nick Nash, he opted out for this ball game. Looks like both starting cornerbacks has opted out as well. Head coach Ken Numatsutolo, first year at San Jose State. He was born and raised in Hawaii. He wasn't the coach last year when they got beat in this bowl game. So that could be a potential motivating factor for the Spartans. But we're talking about bowl season handicapping and the broader pictures right now. The money is right. As cappers, we often look to fade the money, find value the other way. It's kind of ingrained in our thought process. This bowl season, we don't want to be doing that. We want to be going with the sharp money. And certainly look at, Texas San Antonio versus Coastal Carolina yesterday, -6.5 up to -12.5. They won by 29. The Texas money was right. The Penn State money was right. The Sam Houston money was right. The James Madison money was right. I mean, it's been, the sharp money's been spot on this bowl season. I hesitate to step in front of it, which is not what I say during the regular season, game after game. Money here is pointing to the dog. We'll look at South Florida plus the points before I look to lay with San Jose. That being said, if you disagree with me and want to lay with San Jose, be sure to find a -2.5 so you can win your bet if they win the game by a field goal. Lawrence?
Teddy Covers joining us. Teddy, we got 2 NFL games on tomorrow. I think they're on Netflix, if I recall correctly. Whatever streaming service they're on, I have the service. So I'm totally happy about that. Kansas City, 4 p.m. Eastern. Let's start right there. There are 3s and there are 2.5s. The total here is 44, almost across the board. There is 143.5. I'm getting all of this information from the Wager Talk live odds screen, which is spectacular. Guys, check it out. Man, I love both of these games, Teddy, and I'm likely in action on both of them. Where are you going on this first one?
So I try to make a case for Pittsburgh as a home dog to Kansas City when the market was at 3, and now the markets, as you mentioned, they're split between -3s. There are more -2.5s out there with juice right now than -3s. At 3, I was looking at the Pittsburgh side, and all the cases that I made in my head when I started to research them, I wasn't all that thrilled. The Steelers don't lose 3 in a row, right? Pittsburgh's off back-to-back losses. Under Tomlin, well, They lost 3 in a row last year in 2023. They lost 4 in a row in 2022. They had a 3-game skid in 2021, a 3-game skid in 2020. They had 2 3-game skids in 2019, another one in 2018. Yeah, Pittsburgh loses 3 games in a row. Steelers is a dog. We love Pittsburgh as a dog. Remember, they beat Atlanta, the Jets, Washington, Baltimore, Cincy. Their first 5 tries as underdogs, 5-0 straight up, 5-0 against the spread. Well, what happens? The market's caught up. When they're dogs now, they're dogs for a reason. Last 2 tries as dogs, Philly, Baltimore, smacked them pretty good. 0-2, not 5-0, 0-2 for Pittsburgh in that role. George Pickens matters, all right? The offense scored 13 and 17 the last 2 weeks. Russell Wilson forcing things without him. A couple of very costly turnovers last week. Pickens might suit up. The Steelers are hoping he'll suit up, but he might not, and I don't know that I trust him to be fully effective. Coming back off injury versus the Kansas City defense, that's been elite. And my initial thought process where, let's make a case for Pittsburgh, I was like, it's just time for the Chiefs to lose a game. The league probably wants KC to lose a game too. It makes things much more interesting in Week 18. But Kansas City over the last 2 weeks, guess what? This offense is working. All right. What they did last week against Houston was impressive. Long, slow, methodical drives, grinding out first downs. Mahomes making good decisions, relying on their defense. You start to think about it. Is Kansas City the undervalued commodity now? They don't have a huge betting bandwagon, despite being back-to-back Super Bowl champs. And despite having the best record in the league, they went 0-7 ATS from late October to the first week of December. 2-0 against the spread last 2. Yeah, if I'm playing here, it'll be the Chiefs, not the Steelers, on Christmas Day. And I'm going to look at the under as well. Long, slow drives for Kansas City. We believe in their defense. And certainly when you're talking about the way they manage the clock, shorten the game, Pittsburgh loves to do the exact same thing. Under may well be the best bet for Christmas Day, early start NFL.
Yeah, so Teddy, listen, I'm not with you on the under, although I tried to make a case for the under as you did with for Pittsburgh. My worry is twofold. If George Pickens plays, it's a big deal from a total perspective, because not only he's their long bomb threat, and not only is that going to be huge for him and moving the chains, but it sets the entire offense up as well. Pittsburgh's defense has fallen off a cliff, bro. 24, 27, 14, 38, and 24 points they've allowed. Interestingly enough, how does a team who's only lost 1 game get better? I think Kansas City is getting better. Hollywood Brown, big component of their offense last week. Pacheco back and healthy. Now they've got 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end who is non-existent, but strangely is going to be their MVP when all's said and done as they hit the playoffs. I look at Kansas City as a team that's on the rise, which is crazy given that they've only lost 1 game. And I look at Pittsburgh as a team who's on the decline. I'm with you, dude. I don't like the under, but I do lean on Kansas City in this game. Where are you going in this Baltimore-Houston game?
Let's talk about the Ravens and Texans Christmas night. Look at the free WagerTalk Live on screen. We've seen a heck of a lot of Baltimore money of late. This opened as low as like 3.5. Was sitting at 4. Now we're sitting at 5, 5.5. Lots of money for Baltimore. And look, D'Amico Ryans knows what's coming. I read an interview yesterday where he called Lamar the obvious choice for his 3rd MVP. He was just buttering praise on the Baltimore quarterback. We're not going to rile him up. The Texans only forced 2 punts versus Patrick Mahomes last week. And now, when you talk about facing one type of elite offenses versus another, they're facing a completely different type of offense on a very short week. That, to me, is a difficult transition. So, can Houston shorten the game? Well, they're not likely to be able to pound Joe Mixon in this ballgame. The Ravens, number 1 in the NFL against the run, just allowing 3.6 yards per carry. The Texans going to be throwing downfield then, stretching the field? Well, no, Steph Diggs is out for the year. Tank Dell is out for the year. At least Nico Collins. And look, it's not like Nico Collins, John Mechie, and Robert Woods aren't capable. I don't expect anything, by the way, from Deontay Johnson, who they just signed after he got cut twice already this season. But the trio they have, it's not like they can't catch the football, that there's no passing game with Collins, Mechie, and Woods. There is. But the downfield game is affected. The ability to stretch the defense is affected. And it's worth noting, C.J. Stroud, his last two games, 6.3 and 5.0 yards per attempt. For the full season, he's 7.1. So he never had 2 weeks like this all year until the last 2 weeks in terms of not being able to throw downfield nearly as much, the dinking and dunking. And Stroud, 8-7 touchdown to interception ratio the last 6 games. Houston's offense isn't that good right now. The Texans beat the Buffalo week 5. They raced out to a 20-3 lead. I remember the game they barely escaped. Fairburn had a 59-yarder as time expired to win by 3. That win against the Bills in week 5, where they played one good half of football, that's their only win all year against an opponent with a winning record. They beat the Jags twice, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the Colts twice, the Pats, the Bears. Not like they've been beating all kinds of good teams. I really respect the Mecca Ryans. Really do. Love this coach. But 3 games in 11 days is veteran coach's territory. Advantage Harbaugh. Sharp money for Baltimore for good reason. If I'm playing, well, all you have to do in these single event NFL games right now is just lay the chalk. It worked pretty well this past week for the Saturday games, for the Monday game. I'm laying it here. Baltimore passed for this better.
Totally agree. Teddy covers everybody. Teddy, what do you got going for $5 Tuesday?
NBA Christmas Day. We're finally getting things going in NBA, Prez. It was a rough start to the season. I couldn't do anything right. That hasn't been the case of late. On a nice 71% hot streak over the last, 8 or 9 days. Won again last night. Christmas Day NBA, locked and loaded. $5. Watch and win. Check it out right now at WT.buzz/TC.
Happy holidays, my brother. Go enjoy your family. Andy Lang and Gianni the Greek still to come. I do want to make mention we have one of our most popular promos starting tomorrow. It is the Fill Your Cart promotion. It is 25% off of any single thing we sell over at WagerTalk. The promo code is Holiday25. This is a promo that starts tomorrow. We do not have a show tomorrow, so I'm mentioning it now because we've got a couple NFL games going tomorrow. There's a lot of big games going over the next week. This promo code will be in effect all the way through to New Year's Eve. You use the promo code Holiday25. You get 25% off any package you want. Also, guys, I'm taping the NFL presidential address right after the show. That should be up around 5 p.m. Eastern today. Make sure to watch that. And Bet On It is also being taped today. Andy Lang, part of Bet On It. What time you guys taping, bro?
What time do we plan on taping, or what time are we actually taping?
So I heard that the taping on Bet On It is quite an event. Like if we taped the taping, it would be a show.
I've said for years we need to offer a special package where you're just allowed to log in and listen to all the production.
Although, to be fair, Andy, we might not have a show if we let people do that. We may be canceled by YouTube promptly.
Are you talking in our ears, or is it coming out live?
Oh, they can hear producer Dan. No, the show will be up, I believe, this evening. So we'll have plenty of information, and I'll be doing another prop for the games this weekend. So it'll be up tonight for everybody, Christmas edition. So.
Andy Lang, your birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, my friend. I hope you got a lot of action. If you didn't, send me your wife's information. I'll handle it.
Thank you. Cash 2 hockey bets. That was enough action for me. That was great. Happy birthday.
Change.
Happy birthday. Yeah. All right, let's talk some NFL.
Change. You got two NFL props, 2 NBA props, and of course we got a darts bet. The mic is yours.
You've been doing a great job with your follow-up questions today. I'm very excited to get the darts follow-up question, though. But we'll start with NFL here. Samaje Perine over 9.5 receiving yards. He's been fantastic. They're running set plays for him. He's gone over in 10 out of the last 11 games. Prez, he has a catch over 9.5 yards in the last 11 games. He's getting over with one catch here. He's averaging 2.1 targets per game. Some of these set pieces are running for him. He's wide open. So they're doing a great job with him. Over 9.5 receiving yards is definitely going to make it as a client play. And then I'm with Teddy in that the Ravens, I love this spot for the Ravens. We'll take Lamar Jackson over 1.5 touchdown passes. He's gone over 8 of the last 9 games. Texans are averaging 2 passing touchdowns per game. They've given up 28 passing touchdowns. It's tied for most in the NFL. So let's cash on P. Ryan over his receiving and Lamar Jackson over his touchdown passes.
Yeah, the Lamar Jackson one makes a lot of sense to me, dude. NBA, Gafford and Michael Porter Jr. Fill us in.
Yeah, Gafford's been great on his points prop. We'll take him over 9.5 points. He's gone over 19 of the last 21 games. This is just set it and forget it. Rinse and repeat. He's averaging 7 field goal attempts per game, but all of his shots are right at the rim. Prez, he's shooting 74% from the field. So every 4 shots he takes, he makes 3 of them. He's gone over in 6 out of 7 games against Minnesota. So this is a really good matchup for him. You're taking him over 9.5 points. And this is another one that set it and forget it. Michael Porter Jr. over 8.5 rebounds plus assists. He keeps landing on 9, so this is barely cashing, but it's great because the books keep leaving this number at 8.5. Gone over in 22 out of the last 27 games this season. Gone over in 8 out of 9. And he's playing Phoenix. They give up 12 rebounds and assists to opponents at this position. He's averaging 11.6 rebound chances and 3.6 potential assists. So Michael Porter Jr. over 8.5 rebounds and assists, and Daniel Gafford over at 9.5 points for some nice Christmas action in the props market.
Andy Lang, before we get to your dart bet, what do you got to promote?
$5 Tuesday. Obviously, everyone's taking advantage of that. We have a 5% college football best bet that is up. It's not in today's game. It's after Christmas. So cashed our big bet in college football last week. That makes us 12-5. Really proud of being 12-5 in college football this season. 25-9 lifetime last 2 seasons. So
wow.
Number 1 in winning. Yeah. Number 1 in winning percentage in ROI since we started doing college football. So we just do 1 play a week. That's all we need, and it's worked out absolutely fantastic. So 5% best bet is up. That goes off after Christmas. So you have all day to grab it. And we're still running a birthday special, Prez, 7 days for $45 since it was my 45th birthday. Last 7 days, we're up 22 units, and we're still number 1 the last 2 years. So you want short-term success, we've got that. You want long-term success, we've got that. All plays are documented, and we are absolutely on fire, 17-6 in the NHL. Darts is going fantastic. We're doing well in this tournament. So if you want a really, really good deal on a 7-day pass, no promo code needed, wt.buzz/AL.
And most importantly, Andy, it's going to win because I'm one of the owners of WagerTalk, and I have access to the back end, and I know everybody's records, and I think only one person might be better than you, and that person does like Taiwanese baseball, Korean hibachi, and lawn bowls in Japan. Okay. Yeah, Tokyo, Brandon. Tokyo, if you're listening, happy holidays. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, but at least I don't have to deal with him right now in his ridiculous outfits. Gianni the Greek still to come. Andy, dart. Let's go.
Dan,
what do you got?
Producer Dan, we got to cash on Madar's Razma one more time, don't we? We're going to take over 3.5 180s. We gave out his over 180s in the first game, or the first match they played, and he had 5 of them. So he's had 5 in his first match, had 4 in his second match. Here's the thing, Prez. Those matches were best of 5, and he won both of them 3-1. This next round is best of 7. So he was going over in the best of 5. He's going to get more chances at this. This game is going to be really competitive. He's facing James Bunting, who's a legit darts player. Rasmus kind of come out of nowhere to win. Stephen Bunting. Sorry.
So don't say I don't know darts, bro.
My bad.
My
bad.
You did not know that I know darts, and I have a follow-up.
I have no idea why. I do know why, because I'm looking at James right now. Stephen Bunting. Sorry, Stephen Bunting's a great darts player. I think this one goes the distance. So I only need 3.5 180s, and he's had 5 and 4 in his first matches. Yeah, I love this one. It's plus 125. That's the best part of this play.
Madres Razma. So it doesn't this is a guy that peaked already, though, bro. I mean, he won the Latvia National Championship in 2010, 12, 14, 15, and 16. He won the Riga Open in 2013, and he's won shit since.
Yes. This is why this is a great play, because the books haven't caught up. He's been practicing. He won his first 2 matches of the World Championships. It's impressive.
And the follow-up question?
It was impressive as well. That was one of your better ones. You actually Googled the guy and looked him up, didn't you?
Andy Lang, everyone. Happy holidays, my brother. Love having you on. Get the hell out of here. Gianni the Greek. Time for the Steam Report. Gianni, you bet anybody in your syndicate bet card?
No. Just the limits aren't high enough, Prez. They're not going to do the work and not be able to get down money. Like the work that it takes. And then even if you have a 5% edge, you got to bet $10,000 just to think you're making $50 off it. You can't get 10 dimes down on that kind of stuff. So they don't even mess with it. You know what I mean? Like those smaller markets are more for sharp bettors that do make a living betting into them. But once you get to a certain bankroll, you just can't bet that stuff anymore because the limits are just too low. So those usually they pass on, on the real smaller markets. It's a slow day. It's a really slow day, Prez. I'll tell you this.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's amazing. I actually been trading some, it's a force of habit. I've been trading some crypto, like getting in the day trades, like for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just to give me something to do because I'm waiting for plays to come in and they're just not coming in. I've already bet the South Florida San Jose State game. I gave out the over earlier in the week. I think on your show at 62, it's up to 65, 66. So all that value is gone. I do lean the favorite as well. But we have seen some South Florida money come in today. I was surprised. I actually bet more than I wanted to on San Jose State because I thought that would get to 3.5, get past 3 to where I could have a middle because I kind of laid the 2.5, and I thought I'd have a 3.5 or maybe even 4-point middle. That didn't happen. So now I'm forced with more money on the San Jose side that I really want, and I can't really get off it because, what am I going to do? Take the 2.5 with South Florida? And I mean, I could kind of do that and just pay a little vig. So I'm hoping to find some rogue threes just to get off of that bet. But yeah, I got San Jose State. I do have the over as well. So far tomorrow in the NFL, Prez, it's been what you expect. It's been Baltimore money. Yeah. That's the late game. That's going to be the biggest risk for the books. I'm telling you now, if you like the Baltimore side, bet it. Because it's going to get to 6. It's going to get to 6.5. And don't be surprised.
There's already a 6.
Exactly. So don't be surprised.
Yeah. There is already a 6. It's 5.5 across the board. I want to ask you a question about this Baltimore game really quick. Firstly, guys, I forgot to ask, if you don't mind, just hit that like button. Please, please, please. And also, I'm curious what you guys think about the new format. 4 guests on a day instead of 3. Gianni on every day, Andy on a ton. I'm very much enjoying this new format. I'm curious what you guys think. But here is my question to you, Gianni. We got Baltimore at, let's just call it -6 for argument's sake. We got a total here of 46. If Baltimore scores 27 points, you go a bare minimum of 1-1. Tell me how Baltimore is not scoring 27 points in this game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you look at Houston, they're not the best defense. They just gave up 27 to Kansas City. And, Kansas City's a defensive team this time of year. They gave up 32 to Tennessee at home. I see they gave up 26 to Detroit. So I can see where you're coming from with that Baltimore putting up those points. The only thing I actually think that's probably even a better bet than laying the points right now, Prez. I see all the excitement for Baltimore, but I'm just gonna pause on that because the line's just moving too quickly and too significantly. And let's not forget, Baltimore's coming off playing 2 very good games. It's hard to sustain that level over and over.
What is going on in the background?
A lot of stuff. I'm not even sure.
There was a beautiful woman in a robe. Can we rewind? Then there was a little kid. Then there was another kid. Then there was an elephant. Okay,
that
no elephant.
Too. There's everything in here. There's everything in this house. Trust me. Listen. Back to the Steelers, because you remember Baltimore just beat the Steelers, dude. That was a big game for them. That was at home against the Steelers. They were over a touchdown favorite. They got the job done. Now you got Cleveland up the week after, so it's like you got this in between.
Yeah.
With Houston, obviously it's on Christmas, but again, for Baltimore, you're traveling on the road. I don't know why everyone's so excited about laying all these points on the road against a Houston team that obviously, if you're going to bet them, that's where you want to bet them. You want to bet them as dogs. You want to bet them at home. That's where they played the best football. That's where they've done the most damage. Like, again, I haven't dug deep into this game, but whenever I see a team like that, which is as high profile as the Baltimore Ravens are, that are positive money ATS for the season, have now covered 3 of their last 4 in which they scored 30 points or more. You're usually not going to get them at any kind of discount. In fact, that's been proven by the fact you now have to lay 6 compared to 3, which is what it opened at. So you are paying a heavy premium to back this Baltimore team on Christmas. Dude, they could go out there and win by 60 points. They probably will. That's why they're favored. But I still don't think it makes it a good bet. Like if you're holding a -6 ticket in your pocket, knowing it was -3, knowing it was -4, knowing it was -5, I don't know how comfortable you could be. Again, you're just betting that Baltimore is just so much better. It has nothing to do with the number anymore. Because if it had to do with the number, you would have bet it a lot earlier or you wouldn't be betting it. So again, for me, it just doesn't make sense. Like for me, it's an easy bet to make. It's either dog or pass. Because if I haven't gotten down at -3, I sure as hell ain't laying 6. I don't even care. I don't care if I know they're going to win by 40. Prez, you couldn't make me pull that money out of my pocket for nothing. I'd rather throw it out the window and hope somebody that needs it finds it compared to giving it to the sports book. Because I know if I'm laying 6 on an opener of 3, I am not getting the best of it. There's no chance I'm betting from a position of strength. No chance.
Well, I just for the record, everybody, there is an addendum to that. And that is maybe there was a big time injury that changed that line.
Boom.
There isn't in this situation, and I want to speak to you about that quickly because it's a very fascinating topic. And why all of a sudden do you not you, a rhetorical question, we got Baltimore come out at -3, you're like, nah. Then they're -4, you're like, nah. Then they're -5, you're like, nah. Then they're -6, you're like, yeah, baby. So if you didn't like them at 3, 4, and 5, why are you liking them at 6? So what you're saying makes total sense. With that said, selling picks is slightly different because I don't want to put it out at -3 knowing it's going to go to -6 and then I win and my clients lose and everybody is mad. So, from a selling pick perspective, I actually do try to wait it out and see where the line ends up before I
Chris, not to interrupt you, that's a good move. In fact, you're doing right by your clients because you're waiting to see where's there still some EV left after the line settled. So they're not in a race. You don't need them to hold their cell phone next to them and be logged into an account so they could fire right away or they're going to lose the number. You're doing right by your customers. They know how you approach it. And I see there's nothing wrong with that at all. And if you handicap this game and you come up that you think Baltimore should be an 8-point favorite, then go ahead and lay that 6. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I just trade differently because I trade with believe me, 1/125. It changes next week. You will see low volume like you've never seen before. I've tightened the parameters. I did 10 years of documented picks where I won 8 of those, Prez. I did enough as far as volume goes. That all changes 1/125. It's now about just ROI for me. I've learned a lot over the last couple of years. And now with, fully at WagerTalk, I think that's how I'm going to benefit subscribers and followers the most by not throwing that full volume. But when you trade like that, high volume trader that's just looking to take advantage of every edge, and when the dust settles, trust that they're going to turn a profit, you're only betting numbers. You're not even really handicapping the game. You're looking to where the market's going and let me get out ahead of it. Kind of like with Bitcoin. I'm trading it today. I don't know if it's worth 90,000 or 120,000 right now. But what I do know is if it hits a certain level, it's going to bounce back a little bit. I could make a couple dollars because, it went straight up a little too quickly. You know what I mean? So I'll trade it like that without having to handicap the commodity, without having to handicap this stock. All I'm doing is trading on price action. Has nothing. I don't even care if the company's good or not. I'm trading on price action. So it's a little bit different. If you're handicapping the side, that's the way to do it and give the most value to your subscribers. Again, it's so hard for them to be beating all the numbers and shit, especially if you're a volume guy. So, dude, I believe me, your approach works. Don't change it for nobody. And if you see -6 is the right side, lay the 6, brother. Don't let me change your mind. I'm just saying for my guys, what they expect, they would email WagerTalk and say, what do I do?
Yeah. David Havley writes, Gianni, was Carry On better than Die Hard? The answer is hell no, not even freaking close.
No.
That's insane.
Gianni, I fell asleep on Carry On. I fell asleep.
It was okay. It was nothing special. Brother, what do you got for the $5 Tuesday? And we got to call it a show. So say your best wishes.
I'm putting it up right after I get off of this for Christmas Eve. They're going to get an NFL $5 play. Rarely do I do that, but it's Christmas. You got to be generous, right? So I'm going to give them a Christmas Eve a Christmas Day $5 play, I believe. And just excited about 2025. Like I said, Prez, the new improved approach and close out the season strong. It's the bowl games this week, bro. It's the playoffs coming up. There's no better week than this. We talked about it. I don't want to sound like a broken record. But like I said, I'm just excited about the next few days. Tonight's about Christmas Eve. It's a good 24 hours. Family and friends. That's what it's about.
Gianni the Greek, love having you on. Have a wonderful, amazing night. Guys, Merry Christmas to all of you. My God, David, Clay, B-Daddy, Bill, Star Child, Ja, Javier, Rick, Waj, Jessica, so appreciative that you guys log in, Justin, every day to participate in our chat room, watch our show live. Thank you to Dan for being our producer, Joe Ranieri. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope you guys kick ass, and we'll see you on Thursday.